Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, our mission is a bit different. We're looking at a blueprint for education, really.
That's right.
We're diving deep into, well, the source material is a full script. Episode 1 of the Beginner Language Learning Show. It's called English with Anlisza and Marker.
Mm-hmm. And we're not really judging the English content itself, are we? We're looking at the design.
Exactly. The instructional design.
This script, Everyday English for Beginners, it's like a perfect little lab specimen.
Yeah.
It helps us see how introductory content, sets expectations effectively. We're analyzing the structure, the language choices, the host dynamic. What did they actually engineer to make good on that promise of easy learning?
And yeah, what hits you right away is that core philosophy.
Right.
And Anlisza spells it out right at the start. She says, today we will learn English together, slow, easy, and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marker jumps in immediately, echoing it. Very easy.
Yeah.
Very simple.
But, I have to wonder, for maybe a more advanced learner or just an adult who's technically savvy, isn't hammering on easy quite so much?
Yeah.
I don't know, almost patronizing.
That's a really fair question. It's a risk.
Does it maybe undermine the value a little?
It could, but I think here, repeating simple, easy, it's actually a very strategic psychological move.
Okay.
For someone who's a true beginner, the biggest hurdle isn't usually the material itself. It's the anxiety, the fear of failing.
Ah, right.
So this approach, it really leans on a pedagogical idea called scaffolding.
Scaffolding, okay.
Yeah. By constantly stressing slow and easy, they're basically putting up these linguistic supports. Think of them like verbal training wheels, almost.
Huh. Before you even get to the first word.
Exactly. Before the first bit of actual content.
So it's about managing the cognitive load then, radically lowering it. They're not just selling easy, they're trying to manage the learner's emotional state from the get-go.
Precisely. And think about this too. Emphasizing simplicity like that, it enables micro-commitments. Micro-commitments.
Yeah. The listener isn't signing up for, years of intense study.
Right, not a 4-year degree.
No. They're just committing to this one session, and they've been reassured over and over it'll be fun and simple.
Which makes hitting play much less daunting.
Exactly. That's the entire point of a first episode, isn't it? Just get them started.
Okay, so that low-pressure tone sets the feel. But let's talk structure. How do the mechanics of the show itself back that up?
The opening is, it's almost strikingly friendly. Kicks off with that really upbeat, hello, hello. Clear intros for both Anlisza and Marker. It feels very inviting, very warm.
And the sequencing there is quite deliberate, I think.
Yeah.
They go from that high-energy personal greeting straight into providing clarity about the structure. Once the hosts are introduced, the tone's set, and Anlisza gives this very direct command. So sit back, relax, and let's begin.
Okay.
Now, that little moment, it sounds small, but it's actually pretty critical in educational design. Why? It just sounds like, housekeeping, telling people what's happening.
Well, yes, but it's about managing that anxiety around time and effort we talked about.
Okay.
Often in a learning situation, people need reassurance. Like, when does the work actually start?
Right. When do I need to focus?
Exactly. By telling them to sit back, relax, they're literally commanding a state of, psychological readiness. It signals very clearly, okay, the intro chat's done, now the focused learning starts.
But still low stress.
Still low stress, absolutely. There's zero confusion about what's happening next.
It also feels like Marker. He has a really specific part to play here. Is he just a co-host? Or is he maybe functioning as, a structural piece, like a stand-in for the listener who's succeeding?
Oh, that's a great observation.
And Anlisza seems to be the main guide, right, setting the pace. But Marker's just this echo of positivity.
I think Marker is maybe the most interesting structural piece here. He's not just an assistant. He's, I believe, the key pedagogical tool for behavioral modeling.
Behavioral modeling. Okay, break that down.
Well, when Marker responds so enthusiastically, saying things like, very simple, he's actually demonstrating the desired behavior. He's showing the emotional response they want the successful beginner to have.
So the audience sees their own potential success mirrored in him.
Exactly. If I'm listening, maybe struggling a bit, I see Marker who's basically positioned at my level, and he's not just getting it, he's finding it fun.
That validates the whole method. And it makes me feel less like I'm the one failing. It feels hard.
Yes, it validates the approach, and crucially, it validates the pace.
Right, the slow, easy part.
If Marker is happy and succeeding at this deliberately slow pace, then the listener gets permission to go slow too. It fights that typical pressure we feel to just rush through learning material.
Let's shift to the actual application then. The title hints at it. Everyday English for Beginners. That suggests, immediate practicality, not a deep dive into grammar theory. Why is prioritizing that practical stuff so important for this specific audience?
Well, it ties directly into adult learning theory, really. Okay. An adult learner, generally, needs immediate relevance. They need to feel like, okay, what I'm learning today, I can actually use tonight. Maybe at the shop or introducing myself tomorrow.
Right, something tangible.
Yes. So by focusing on everyday English, they sidestep the more abstract grammar rules, at least initially, and go straight for high utility functional language, stuff you can use right away.
So they're building confidence through utility. The goal for episode 1 isn't fluency, obviously.
Not at all.
It's just giving the beginner maybe a few key phrases that actually work in the real world, and that gets them to come back for episode 2.
That's the core strategy, I think. If a listener can use just one phrase successfully after the first lesson,
that's a win.
It's a small victory, yeah. And that triggers a positive feedback loop. Success builds confidence, and confidence, well, that's the currency that buys continued engagement. It helps prevent people from dropping out early.
And that focus on accessibility, it really feels baked into the show's DNA. We mentioned slow, easy, and fun earlier. That's not just marketing language, is it? It seems to dictate the actual rhythm of how they deliver the information.
Oh, the rhythm is everything. Absolutely. Think about the opposite, right? That rapid-fire YouTube tutorial that makes you constantly pause and rewind.
Yes, super frustrating.
It creates frustration. This script seems designed to ensure the actual speed of delivery matches that promise of slow. It's very deliberate pacing. They're maximizing comprehension, maybe even at the expense of covering a lot of ground.
Prioritizing retention of a few things over just exposure to many.
Precisely. Quality over quantity for that first contact.
Okay, let's look at the end, the wrap-up section. It feels just as carefully layered as the beginning, and Lisa signals the end very clearly. That's all for today's lesson. It's decisive. It gives closure.
A clear boundary. And right after that structural endpoint, the affirmation strategy kicks right back in.
With Marker, yeah.
With Marker. He immediately confirms the session was a success. Yes, we learned so much.
Right.
Now that is so important. It provides that immediate high-value psychological reward.
Ah, the dopamine hit.
Basically, yes. Learning takes effort, right. And our brains need that little confirmation, that feeling that the effort paid off. Marker provides that sort of collective, phew, we did it moment for the listener. A little celebration.
I also noticed the thank yous at the end felt really comprehensive, almost like a ritual.
Yeah.
Unless it starts broad. Thank you for learning with us.
Yeah.
Then Marker gets personal. Thank you, teacher. Directed at Anlisza.
Yeah.
And then Anlisza closes with a blanket. Thank you, listeners. It's like layers of gratitude.
That layering is, I think, a really smart move for community retention.
How so?
They're not just thanking people for listening. They're subtly defining the relationships. There's the host-learner dynamic, teacher-student.
Right. Marker calling Anlisza teacher.
And then the broader show community, listeners. And by thanking the listeners specifically for learning with them, they create this subtle sense of shared effort, a mild social connection that might encourage someone to return.
It shifts it from just listening, like consumption,
to participation.
Yeah.
Learning together. It's framing it as a collaboration, not just a broadcast.
Yeah, turning a transaction into a team effort almost. And then that final closing line really seals the deal on the brand identity. They sign off together, Anlisza and Marker, with that joint, positive, have a great day.
It bookends that fun promise beautifully, doesn't it?
It really does.
Starts with high energy, promises ease, delivers a structured lesson, affirms success, and then ends with this shared warmth. Looking at it purely from a content creation angle, this whole script shows that designing introductory instructions, it's really about performance design.
Performance design.
Yeah. The actual lesson content in some ways feels secondary to getting the tone, the relationship, and the structure right first.
So pulling this all together, if we look at this script as maybe not a gold standard, but a really strong example for introductory content, what's the main takeaway?
I think the core lesson is that effectiveness, especially for absolute beginners, hinges on explicit trust building.
Sure.
This script uses that really structured, supportive framework. You've got the psychological scaffolding, the behavioral modeling with Marker, that intense positive affirmation. It's all designed to minimize anxiety and maximize that immediate feeling of, hey, I can do this.
Right.
So the key insight for anyone creating this kind of content might be you have to strategically design the feeling of ease and achievement before you even get deep into the curriculum details.
Okay, that makes sense. So, thinking about that, considering this blueprint for simplicity, this supportive dynamic, how crucial do we think an explicitly defined friendly host dynamic, this sort of friendship structure they built, how essential is that for any beginner educational content, whatever the topic? When people look at this very simple, very supportive structure, what's the one thing that stands out as maybe the most transferable element? Something they could apply to their own teaching or content design?